Okay. I guess I can rest assured that this is finally a video I'm making for Indy. She's actually going to watch. I made quite a few she didn't even bother to look at. Probably to smooth things over, but here we are. And all things considered, hi kids, everyone watching along who's also formed opinions on this. Prepare to have your mind shattered. So, let's, just cut to the chase here of when I more or less get called out on what I'm doing here. So let me just. So it's like next day, and part of me is actually kind of, kind of gratified that she's not in a good mood. Anything means, yes, I had an effect. And we'll just keep out here.
Okay, it's the next day. This morning fucking sucked. Someone sent my Twitter to like an openly transphobic doctor telling her to diagnose me.
Wrong. I did not say anything of the sort. In fact, I've got the receipts right here of the. In fact, if you even posted a screenshot of the thing, it's like. And also, let's keep in mind here. The doctor I put was a doctor who was involved in the trans thing and was kind of thing. But she's had to deal with a lot of kids. She's mainly a pediatrician down in Portland, and she deals with a lot of kids who were, talked into transitioning when it's like, no, that's not the issue. They're autistic. They're on the spectrum. They're something or other, and has trying to piece together some rather shattered lives here. And I was not asking for a diagnosis. I was asking. In fact, the tweet says, I'm going to put the screenshot up here. I was asking for a professional opinion, mainly on how I should proceed on this thing. Should I just, so I continue to try to be the voice of reason in the background, saying you might want to back away from the cliff? I didn't say anything about, and plus, Indy, public YouTube video you posted. In fact, you reposted the link twice on your page, on your Twitter feed, and it's also a public Twitter, profile there. I did not share anything private at all. I didn't try. You want to try and get this? Get it? No. Everything is public. In fact, it had to be because her DMs are closed. Because I had to, post it publicly, and she declined. And said, "Nope." That was her entire response. Nope. So it was all for naught anyway. But again, and some people have drawn the analogy to the problem with Eden, which is if I recall, was a guy transforming a girl, and that's another issue entirely. But again, your situation, very different. Not just the fact of where you live and everything else, but just the whole thing is totally different. So no, it doesn't apply. So don't try and make the analogy, kids. All right? And it's a knowledge of that thing of why I, probably, felt like I got away with it, even not even, I've totally forgotten about Eden, frankly. But, again, I'm not asking for another diagnosis. I was asking for a personal opinion on, am I, proceeding and trying to do it, or should I, just shut the hell up and let nature take its course here? And I never got back on. And so far, I haven't seen anything, persuading me differently. But let's move on here.
I think the shitty part is, the shittiest part is that, the person who did it, I already knew they weren't happy with me being trans because they've been telling me as much. And, that's fine or whatever. I'm willing to entertain conversations, mostly because I want to see if I can convince these people out of their ignorance. I think it was just the fact that it was someone that they've been a fan for a while. They've been around in the community for a while. And I gave them multiple chances to stop trying to detransition me. But yeah, this was crossing the line, obviously.
Again, not really crossing the line in the sense that everything was public in the first place. And I wasn't asking for what you thought I was asking for, Dindy. I was asking for an opinion, just an opinion of what's going on. I wasn't asking for any kind of diagnosis or intervention or anything like that.
And I don't know. That shit just sucks, bro. Just leave me alone. I don't get why that's so hard. Thankfully, I live in a state and have friends and family and everyone. My like living situation, everything. Oh shit, I'm gonna run out of fucking that storage. I at least have. I'm safe. I live in Washington. I'm not at risk of anything bad happening. I don't know. Other people are, and with how things are going in certain states, that's like a really scary thing to fucking do to someone. So
Scary to repost a public video you posted twice with your public. How am I putting you at any more risk than you already put yourself?
sorry. The other thing that fucking pisses me off is I feel like as much as me transitioning is not up for fucking debate, like I said in the original video, never will be up for debate because it's my fucking choice. But I think one thing that pisses me off is, despite that, I have, for the most part, put up with more conversation and like people trying to talk me out of it than I really should be. So like I already like let people say whatever the fuck they want, like whatever. Like I've let people fully try to talk me out of it, but going behind my back when I already fully let you just do it in my DMs to your heart's content. Well, I mean, kind of. At a certain point, I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up because no, and all of your arguments are dumb.
Again, I'm not really sure it's behind your back so much, okay? Again, everything was public. What did you want me to, tell you before? Hey, I'm gonna send this stuff to this doctor over here. It's like, that would have, that wouldn't have gone anywhere, no, would it? But no, I was just asking for an opinion on just the situation. I wasn't asking for a freaking diagnosis on you, okay?
And it was never a debate. But, like, I can put up with people just having a different opinion as long as they're not trying to force me to do shit. But as soon as you start trying to force me to do shit, you're done. It's too much. Super annoying. You'd think people would have given up on trying to save me after they realized that I make porn. And that's not changing, so I don't know why the fuck anything else would.
Because you're just so goddamn adorable, Indy, and you just kind of seem to be one of me saying, no, I'm gonna go there.
Like, why do people keep trying to fucking save me? Ew. Like, who are you, my fucking dad? My dad doesn't even try to do that shit. What the hell? My dad thinks it's cringe when you guys do that. Just so you know, for the record, in case you wanted my dad's input.
Yeah, this is why a guy in my class thought our world is doomed once the guys behind us come up behind us.
Bruh, I just looked for a spatula for so fucking long. I found one. Look how pretty it is. Side note. Where did I get this?
Spatula City.
Williams Sonoma. It was not cheap. Bruh, I can't get over it. That was so fucked. Like, what the fuck? Why would you do that? Oh. Genuinely? What is wrong with people? I do not comprehend behavior such as this.
That's kind of back at you there, Indy. It's incomprehensible to those of us who still observe observable reality. Okay? Biology has not changed in millions of years, and it's kind of the pinnacle of hubris, human hubris, to think that we can just change our gender because we feel like it, or because we just don't feel like. And again, I'm really since the Kevin Smith video came, when he went through. Again, not now, just but similarities in there, like so much of what drives us in life relates to childhood trauma and other experiences. And one thing I'm pushing here is, you mentioned in one of your tumblers, you want to come about my tumblers later on, something happened to you as a little, you can barely remember it yourself. You said yourself, you blocked it out. But then also apparently not that traumatic. Bullshit! Clearly very traumatic. And I don't want to push it on what the hell it was, apparently, but you've been burying this, and it's, but it started you, how old, 6, they're chopping the tits off your Barbie dolls? Something happened to put it in your brain that being female is bad, that these breasts are wrong. And then every shitty thing that's happened to you along those lines, puberty, and you mentioned a rape on there, is just reinforced that. But that doesn't make it right. And that's why I'm pushing, go for the EMDR trade, therapy. Resolve that. Because that's what's driving not just but everything in your life that you've done since, toddlerhood. Traces back to whatever happened to you back then. You got to resolve that if you're ever going to get any better. You want to stay on the antipsychotics all your life? You want to keep going to teams of therapists all your life? Or do you maybe want to take the red pill and actually meet yourself for the first time in about almost 30 years? That's what I'm pushing for here. I'm not, going just on the trans bad. That's really a separate issue. I'm really getting a thing about, people pushing kids into this, and that is backfiring in a big way, in case you hadn't noticed on the headlines. But let's get on here.
I have to do this quickly because I have less than 10 minutes. Jelly I made yesterday. Alright, I'll do the jelly first. I feel like I'm on, shit, what are those cooking shows where you have to do it really fast? I feel like I'm on one of those, I was gonna say Kitchen Nightmares, but that's not one of those shows. Cutthroat Kitchen, Iron Chef.
I'm more of an Iron Chef. Yeah.
One of those, yeah. This is such a pretty color. Ooh, plop, plop, ooh. Shit, get it on the edge. Just realized I have to edit at some point this week. Ooh, when am I gonna do that? For roasting in the bag. Holy shit. It looks like blue Gatorade. Time to fill these bitches. Okay, how am I gonna... Little hole. I could do this way better, but I'm short on time. So, we're doing this. Yo. Shut the fuck up outside. Also, you can tell I didn't mix these cupcakes super well because there's spots where it's not blue. So, jelly time. Jelly. I really do feel like I'm on a cooking show at the moment. I'm trying to get the nozzle down in there so it can really fill it. That sounded dirty.
Anybody wonders why Indy's constantly late for a stream? This is why.
Also, the motherfucker who tweeted at the fucking transphobic doctor made the longest fucking Tumblr post. I might just do a whole separate video on that because it's just actually fucking wild. So, yeah, lots of fun shit happening over here. Okay, that's it. See you in the next video.
I welcome the chance to do a response video on that. On the one hand, you could argue that we should probably just do a stream together, but I think it would just be screaming at each other, mostly you screaming, at me. I mean, trying to maintain rational, but this might be the way to do it. You do a video and I respond. No, that's not what I meant. Okay, so we're done with that. And, well, big thing is the reason I had so damn many long, because I reposted what I said to her on a thing, on my own Tumblr, and I'll put the links down below so you can read it for yourself. So nobody, she said, no, this is what I did. Read it for your damn self. This is what I put on here. But it's part of the thing. It's like you're barking up the wrong damn tree, Indy. Okay. You got, if you're ever gonna think about getting better and getting off of these drugs and all, and on with your actual life, because it seems like you've been going like one cosplay to another. Everything's a freaking cosplay. Even to being a girl, you said yourself, was nothing but a cosplay. Well, you know, I want to say about you never reveal the real you. Have you ever revealed the real you to yourself? That's the thing. I'm really becoming an evangelist on this whole thing. It's like you get to the root of the problem here. Resolve that trauma that you keep blanking out with, refusing to think about it or stomping it down with the pot and everything else. It's like, because, you're never going to get any better on that score until you deal with that. And once you deal with that, then your life is your own again. And wherever the chips fall, they may. But I'm betting my money is you realize, you're gonna have a whole different outlook on what you actually are and where you go. Like another analogy, just you're walking around with a pebble in your shoe, and the option you're looking at is to chop off your foot. Take out the fucking pebble, and maybe your foot won't hurt. That's what we're looking at here. Okay, trying to get you to think about this situation in a slightly different angle than what you've been fed on this whole thing. Because so much of this crap, that's why I keep bringing up John Money. So much of this is baked into his bullshit. He got away with, lying about his results for 20-some years, 30 years, before he finally got called on it. But by that point, he was an adult Alzheimer's patient, died in 2006, but a lot of the protocols he put in about gender ideology and gender theory, and how it's all just a societal contract, he got baked into the thing when actually his actual findings proved the exact opposite. He destroyed those two twin boys' lives lying about what was going on. Oh, it's a perfectly adjusted. He's living life as a girl. Bullshit. He was angry as all hell. He's beating the crap out of his brother, tearing up the dresses. His classmates called him the cave woman. That's how aggressive a tomboy he was. And that's something I learned in research. The whole thing is apparently peeing standing up is genetically encoded into being a guy. Because this poor kid, from before the age of 2 had been, supposedly had a little, rudimentary vulva built up, and looked at all appearances to be a girl. Insisted on peeing standing up. So I was like, some of the stuff is like, I didn't realize that was I thought there was just something we were taught. Nope. We instinctively do it. So yeah, all this thing about, gender is, no, bull. We are so tied to our biology, it's not even funny. Now, a lot of what, gender roles, okay, there you got an argument, as far as, what we expect of men and women. Because that changes society to society. Like I said, there's a group down in Mexico. This is on a PBS thing, probably an episode of Nova, where they were talking about gender, sexuality and stuff. Long before they had any of the present terms. Like, I don't think transsexual was strictly a clinical thing. Or if you happen to see Rocky Horror Picture Show, that's the thing. The only time you ever heard the term transsexual. It was usually, and they had a thing with a guy in an office, going through the whole thing. That kind of ironic, the whole thing about going to Sweden. That was almost a euphemism for going to have the, sex change operations. Sweden is turning, a 180 on that. Okay, hold it. This is not working out right. We got too many people saying this is wrong. But another story they followed up was a small village in Mexico where it was perfectly normal for little boys to be born with the stuff hadn't dropped. And the midwives knew to check, feel that, okay, yeah, it's in there. And around the age of 12 or so, it would pop out, and, up until that point, they're raised as girls. But once everything popped, nope, no, now you're a boy. It's perfectly normal for that culture. So a lot of it is cultural, and that's for respect. But a lot of our behavior and stuff is hardwired. And lately, Indy, it seems, you weren't really showing any masculine behavior anyway. You weren't, okay? Even your reasoning of how the thing was not male reasoning, okay? We don't think that way. Take it from one who is one. Our brains are not wired for that kind of convoluted logic. Okay? And the last live stream I saw, no way in hell is that a boy. Okay? You still have the eye makeup, the sweater turned a bit of a dress thing then. So let's be honest, is the boy thing getting a little boring? You know. Again, I'm not trying to force you to. I'm just trying to make you think for a second here. Okay, that this might not be what you think it is. And the whole thing about being scared of surgery, good. You should be, because you want to argue about whether or not the relative scarring and recovery from a double mastectomy is any better than just a reduction. Double mastectomy is no picnic either. You're still gonna have drains and all this stuff, and a lot more nerve damage involved there. No, okay, just like I said, no. And again, I'm not arguing. I already know you weren't going to go testosterone because what would that prove? Yeah. You don't like body hair. You don't want to change your features. You definitely don't want to destroy your singing voice. So what would be the point in that? And frankly, someone in the trans activist community say, "You're not really trans. You don't want to go the whole hog." And that's the thing that pisses me. That was really that pissed me off, is you had some of them in the audience there referring to your breasts as tumors. That it's like, Again, I am a little sanity here. You don't go chopping yourself up over a personality issue, and this is what this amounts to right now. Again, there's a little bit of misinterpretation. I guess probably on both sides. I'm probably not reading a few things right either, but I've definitely been misread on this one. I was not calling in the cavalry to save her from her transition thing. She's gone crazy. No. Again, I said, I'll have the screenshot up. I said, hey, I'm asking a professional opinion. Not on you. Really on the whole situation, and mainly on, am I doing the right? Yeah, she never followed up on it, so I never got to elaborate. But so many times I've heard a lot, if only someone had stood up and not been the affirming and say, hey, this is not right. Because most of the cases are like, oh, they're also affirming, and yeah, rah, you do that. And then the second they realize they made a mistake, you're a traitor to the cause. I guarantee you, if that day comes, you will find those comments in your thing calling you a heretic, okay? And a traitor to everything else, and how dare you. And you would never translate for a pay. Make my shit look like coming to the door selling Girl Scout cookies, okay? Like I said, part of what is getting, because you're smarter than this, Indy. Come on, But again, I can rant on the. You're not going to convince you because you'll dig your heels in further. I know that the thick Irish head of yours. Yeah. Yeah, I know that much. Okay. I might not be able to decide who your third grade teacher was, but I think I got a good read on you. Okay. So. Again, you call me out, people. I will respond in fairly quick fashion. So, again, you talking about stupid argument. Oh, look at them. Let's read over my arguments here. Let's read in what I'm actually saying. Don't try and interpret anything, because it's been quite clear. We all kind of suck at telepathy. Okay. I try and spell that as close as possible. No, that's not what I said. No, I said this. So we will continue onward, since there's certainly been a hint at a follow-up video on my antics. So, and unlike other videos in this thing, I'm not unlisting this one. And it will be monetized, folks, as long as YouTube will put up with it. So, we'll talk to you later.